you're building a lot of sites and pages and whatnot. So I just want to, lay out a visual so we can see how everything will flow and work together. So right now you've got YouTube, you've got Instagram, you've got Facebook. Where else are you driving
TikTok.
truck? We got TikTok. Alright. Where else?
I mean, I have a Threads account. I just haven't used it very much. I'm not sure.
Okay, so these are the main ones then, right? Facebook.
Isn't there another one out there though that's supposed to be really good that people are talking about right now?
I don't know.
I thought there was one.
All right. So, what we want to do is we want to figure out where are we driving people. Like, what's the end goal that we want people to accomplish with us? So, what would you say that is?
Like the end game?
Yeah, like where do you want, if somebody sees your social media post, where would you like them to eventually end up if they're a good fit to work with you? What service or product?
I think they need to end up in the one-on-one Mindset Academy page.
Okay. So one-on-one coaching?
Yeah.
Okay. So the goal is to get them here. So this is like our North Star. So how are we going to get them there? There's a lot of different ways. And I do think what a lot of people make a mistake on is they try and get them there in 20 different ways. A lot of times you'll see link trees and it's like, go here, go here, go here. We should create a tool or a conversion mechanism that takes people from here and we just put all of our energy into sending them there through one to start. Now, it doesn't mean we can't do more later, but we should nail down one. Now, I know you mentioned that you've got a free gift.
Yeah.
Right? So, and that's what, a free recipe guide?
Yeah, it's a book.
Yeah, so.
I also have the nutrition book that I wrote before that we could use as well for another one.
Okay. So we've got our recipe guide, kind of like our free gift. Okay, and so everybody can come here to some extent, right? And what that's going to do is it will put them into, we'll get them some emails. Which again is another sort of play to then move them to a conversion mechanism, which in my eyes should be a VSL.
A what?
A VSL. So it's a video sales letter. Okay. And so we're gonna drive everybody here, but we're also, so we'll probably have that, and then we'll also drive people directly to the VSL. Okay. And then these emails, we're gonna drive here. So video sales letter is, maybe it's a 5 to 15 minute video, and what it's gonna do is share what makes you different, maybe shares your story, shares your process on how you help a specific type of person get a certain type of result. And in order to make that, what I need you to create, we've talked about this a little bit, is like, what is your process to help people get there? And who is that person that you might specifically help? Now it can be more broad, it can be more specific. There's pros and cons to either of that. But I think we can look at your coaching and the curriculum that you're building and figure out if somebody joins that curriculum, where do they start? And then by the end, how does their life change and what do they now have that makes them different? So what is that?
Well, in the course, the first module, one of the courses teaches, first of all, what do you need for nutrition? What do you need for nutrition? What do you need for your calorie goals? Let's set that all up. And then let's work on different ways to achieve that through, is it ingredient prep? Is it meal prep? And then how to shop, how to read recipes, how to look at these things, and how to not give up your life, your food, the things you love, and still manage your weight. And that's where my SMART principles come in.
So you said still lose or maintain? Which one would you say, if we had to say lose or maintain, that would speak more to your person?
Lose.
Lose.
Definitely, yeah. People that have almost like they're so overweight that there's like no hope for them to lose it, kind of like that thing.
Okay.
Like the morbidly obese.
So, in your mind, how would you define that? Like, you could say morbidly obese. Is there a way that you would describe that person that speaks to that person?
Someone that has like 50 to 350 pounds to lose.
Is that just who you're speaking to, or do you think there's a... Like, do you want it to be very specific like that, or do you think it's for people who have over 100 pounds to lose? I'm just trying to think of how big can we get your audience, but not have
No, I said 50 to 350, not 300 to 350. So like someone that's just, you know, and it's like or you could just say someone who has tried to lose and tried to lose and tried to lose and tries to lose, but they just keep gaining it back. Like they've never been able to maintain it long term.
Okay. And now, would you mention? You said you've got a principles.
Yeah, SMART principles. I'm just trying to, so I can tell you what the wording is for that.
And so, what is that?
It's an abbreviation, but I'm trying to get you the thing. I have it on my stuff. I'm just trying to get the. So it's simple, manageable, affordable, and realistic. And tasty. So we'll make it tasteful.
Affordable,
realistic, and tasty, or tasteful, something like that.
Okay, so this is your SMART principle system, or your SMART system. So what we want to talk about in the VSSL is briefly a little bit about your story, and from where you were, what struggles you went through, and then where you're at today. And then talking about how throughout that process you've developed the SMART system, and share with them, you know, what entails into that. So you can go through each point, and then throughout it, we'll embed some call to actions, basically saying, hey, if you'd like to, you know, learn more about this, or you think this is like really hitting home for you, and you'd like to see how I might be able to help you, then you drive them from the VSL to either an application / phone call.
I think
Or
both. I think fill an application and to get before the call, so you have some basic information before the call comes in. But yeah, do both.
My thought would be, excuse me, make it one step. So because right now, it's not like we have so many people that we need to filter super hard. Right? We need more people and more conversations. So what I would do is send them directly to a calendar, but then the application's embedded into it. So it's like one step instead of appearing to be two.
Yeah.
And then that's going to lead to a call. And in this case, when you're doing sales just yourself to get started, I would recommend just doing one conversation. But I think if eventually down the road, if you needed to, you could do two. But I wouldn't worry about that right now. And that drives to one-on-one coaching. And then if they don't do that, then it's just your education / group. Okay. So the key thing here is we've got TikTok, right? You've got Facebook. You're at this point creating content every day. And you've been doing that for a while, and your content's really done well, so that's great. The recipe guide, you've got that?
It's almost done. Yeah.
Okay, so it's almost done. So so we need to figure out this. The VSL. So you've built your process. So now what we need to do is build a script around that VSL that shares what you need to. In 5 to 10, 15 minutes, we'll edit it up, make it awesome, So we need to create that. Set up some emails here.
Nick, with emails, can you do can we create emails ahead of time that automatically send to people X amount of time or whatever, so that you don't have to emails that will automatically, a series of emails that will automatically go out to people?
Basically, that's right here.
Yeah.
So anytime we get people to either join up for the recipe guide or if they went straight to the VSL, here in the VSL, there's also going to be a set of emails and touch points. Building a relationship with them so that they're more likely, it'd be more,
After the call.
Here. It would also be here too. So the VSL, I can add a step, which is basically an opt-in page. So we'll just have an opt-in for them to then get the VSL. So we'll collect their info, and then in between here, this will be emails going to the VSL, sending them there, and then once they fill out the application phone call, these emails are trying to get them to the call. Handling objections, getting to know you better. We want to give them a reason to show up.
When I used to do online sales, we had a script in front of us, and then in the script there was objections. So when people gave you certain objections, you had answers. So you do something like that to start with, to actually create those kind of things, so that you don't have to stop and think and stumble over everything. Automatically, if someone says this, then we try this. If someone says this, we try this.
Exactly. You're gonna have so many conversations, and
eventually you'll figure it out. But in the beginning, you want to be able to have something to look at.
You want to write them down, and then also you can. So once they fill out their application and phone call, before that call, they're actually going to be brought to a confirmation page, which says, "Hey, thanks, you booked your call." On that confirmation page, we want to have some testimonials. We want to have some videos that are going to educate them and acknowledge those objections so every time, this was an objection I heard on a sales call, let's build something out for the sales script, but how can we also acknowledge that and nurture ahead of time so it's dealt with? Yeah. So we need to build this, this is easy, this is almost done. The VSL is the bigger project. Writing the emails won't be terribly hard.
So I need to finish, first of all, the program, the class, the culinary class itself, which is...
and your fulfillment.
And I need to finish the recipe book, which I'll have done this weekend or even before then. I'll start recording. I can work on some, if we figure out the VSL, if we can go through some points of exactly what we want to entail in that, then I can come up with a script for it and try to just start doing some recordings and just see how we can get some stuff out of that.
Yep.
And then, so I need to finish the recipe guide, do some recordings, start my recordings for the class itself, and then also at the same time get the website completed, so we can switch that over and get it live. I've got the newsletters down. I just need to figure out how to get them in. That's why I want to work time with you, so we can figure out how to get those in. I want to get very soon get 4 podcast recordings, so I can get those in, just to start putting those things out there.
So this can happen too, and I think the long form will be good because it'll be a place that we can send people to in all of these points.
And it's something they can listen to whenever they want to.
But my thought would be, out of all of these things, we've already got a good amount of distribution, is these being the priorities, and then your website and your podcast, finishing the entire website, getting it. I think that's less important.
I don't think, the website's done. We just need to get it onto the website, and also, because don't you want to literally drive them to the website to...
We would drive them just to an opt-in page.
So they wouldn't ever go to the website at all?
They could, but we want...
I didn't know if that's where the opt-in page would be. It's click on the thing on the page, because that has all the scheduled calls and stuff.
If they go to the website, there's so many different choices and things for them to do, right? And somebody could definitely do some research that way. However, if we have a choice, even on your social media, we want to just point people into this funnel that is driving them to the very next action that we want them to take. So if we know that, all right, if they opt in, then they're going to watch this VSL, and this VSL tells them exactly what you want with no other distractions and them having to make a choice, awesome. If they get to that VSL and then they, let's say, don't book a call, well, guess what? They're going to get emails here with content to try and get them to book that call. And maybe it redirects back to the website, maybe it goes to a blog or one of those things. Yeah, and then they can do more.
And eventually, once we get the website done, that VSL actually could be on the front page of the website too. Yeah, it could just right be there. It's
yeah, it would be like
video.
Yeah, or it would be exactly. So this is how I would structure everything and make these a priority. The reality is, I mean, how close are you to done with your fulfillment?
I just have to do the talking part.
Okay.
I mean, the slides are done, everything's done, it's all in the system. I just need to do the talking parts and everything gets done.
So that's awesome because you can do that anytime, right? What I would almost say is let's speed up this process here, and then get some people flowing into the funnel, and then when we get somebody who books a call, then you can actually, it'll put a fire into your ass to actually do this. You've got all of it. You just need to record, and you can do it as they go through, because none of that matters until somebody actually comes through, right?